Book of Boba Fett, episode 3. It is still terrible. It's still terrible, mostly boring. And the one moment that I found interesting, it was, of course, as usual, pilfered from the EU. Now, I have been getting, the stands have been coming after me a little bit. They come after me and they are taking pot shots at me going, EU's gone. You need to let it go. Or you just don't get it. How dare you talk bad about Black Kirsten or whatever the hell they call that Wookiee. You shouldn't, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about because that's not real Star Wars. And I only know how to talk about real Star Wars because the EU is real Star Wars. Everything produced by Disney since 2012 is not. That is a simple fact of life that the stands have a problem with, because what I continually discover is whenever they come at you, come at me, complaining about this stuff, they only have one line of thought. Tell you how you're wrong, but not tell you why. Say how great something is and tell you not to watch it. The stands are continually afraid of putting Disney Star Wars side by side next to real Star Wars, because when you put any of it up against the EU will destroy it every time. Every time. Because the quality is there where it isn't in Disney. But Book of Boba Fett. Let's just get an article up here so we have something on the screen besides my mug. Where do I begin? All right, Book of Boba Fett, episode 3, opens up with a strategy session. I watched this only a little while ago, so it's still pretty fresh. If I missed something, one of you just please let me know. Because it really, I was trying my best to keep my eyes on it and not to drift over here, something else on the other screen. Book of Boba Fett, episode 3. They open with a strategy session with the torture droid, who seems to be servicing as the major domo, I guess. I don't know. The torture droid is explaining how post-death of Jabba, Bib Fortuna basically turned over day-to-day workings of Mos Espa to 3 different factions. And that's kind of a moot point right there. It doesn't matter who they are because they don't even play into the rest of the episode. So we open this with useless information, because then here comes right away, we move to the next thing. Boba Fett is told he's got a petitioner. So right away, we're going to go out into the main hall again. And right away, of course, no helmet. And in comes Dirty Water Merchant. I'm going to call him Dirty Water Merchant. Dirty Water Merchant comes in and basically says, nobody, and again, now I'll remind you, Jon Favreau wrote all this stuff. And sometimes watching this, I wonder, what is he doing? One moment it seems like he's making fun of the crap he is working on, and then other times it's just, how can you even create this? So in a moment of, I wonder, why is he actually telling truth here? He says, nobody, the Dirty Water Merchant says to Boba Fett, I come here to tell you that basically no one's afraid of you. And why would they be afraid of Boba Fett? Why would they be afraid of Boba Fett? Because he has no crew. He has no power. He has 2 fat Gamorreans in bad practical effects makeup. He's got Fennec Shand, who hasn't really done much either, honestly. And that's kind of it. That's the extent of Boba's muscle. That's the extent of Boba's muscle. So, excuse me. The water merchant begins to tell Boba Fett that he needs to show people he's not afraid, and he'll do that. He can do that by helping him out, basically. And he says to Boba, I have a problem. Will you help me? And Boba's like, okay, fine, I'll help you, because Boba's a nice guy now. And he says, bunch of dirty ruffian kids are stealing my water. I need you to take care of them. They're cyborgs, or they beef them up with cybernetic parts. When we get to these kids, it's just terrible. It's so bad. And Boba's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do this to show my muscle. And Boba and Fennec go into the streets of Mos Espa at night. It's dusk, it's night, it's whatever. Boba and Fennec go out there, and they come upon this gang of kids. And it's a gang of kids. And the first thing I see, and I've noticed that others have picked this up as well, the first thing I saw is their dumb-looking speeder bikes. And this is my thought, and I've seen it echoed. They're Power Ranger-colored speeder bikes. I'm not kidding. Yeah. Quindola Barter actually right. We have Bounty Hunter Souls to Social Worker in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's what happened. So Boba comes out, and basically powerful little girl Whammon, who is the leader of this group with her bad CGI'd cybernetic arm. It's that chick we've seen in the promos. She's there. Oh boy, is she there. And she gives a nice little progressive leftist speech about how there is no work. Boba's like, don't you have jobs? This is the working districts. There is no work. We have no work. We have to steal. And the dirty water merchant, he's charging more for water than he used to. Blah, 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 blah. God forbid capitalism works. God forbid things have to cost more when there's a demand. And so Boba, so without even blinking, and of course he takes his helmet off. I think he takes his helmet off. Yeah, takes his helmet off again. Boba Fett without the helmet on says, okay, you come work for me. So Boba Fett in need of muscle. We're going to see this muscle at work later on. Boba Fett in need of muscle for his crime syndicate to make sure he's a powerful daimyo. He hires 4 ratty-looking teenagers. Okay, they're not ratty. I take that back. Their costumes are terrible. It's like for street urchins, your clothes are pretty damn clean, and they're pretty well tailored. No fraying, no nothing. So he hires the street gang with their 4 Power Ranger colored speeders. And out comes Dirty Water Merchant, and Dirty Water Merchant goes, "You, what are you doing? I need you to get my money from them." And Boba Fett's like, here, just give him his money. He's like, "No, I need you to beat them up." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And you need to lower your prices." Because that's what the mafia does. It tells somebody to lower their prices. I mean, it's just, it's outrageously stupid. So then, Boba hires the street gang and their dumbass looking speeders. Now here comes credit, don, and bad music, all that. Now, right away, because here's the pattern. Thankfully, this episode was only 37 minutes. It wasn't 51 minutes again. Thank the real Star Wars gods for not making me suffer for more than 37 minutes, even less, because you skip over a couple parts here and there. Back to the Bacta tank, back for another flashback, because that's how this show works. You get a moment of reality, and then and then it's Bacta tank time. So Boba Fett gets a flashback. He is now going. It's post his wearing his schmatas given to him by the Tusken Raiders. We're going to unpack this stuff at the end. Don't worry, guys. We're going to go back. We're going to circle back to it. That's what these articles are for. It's there to spur the conversation. We are homeless Boba Man. It is nicer than Boba's. I know. Their clothes were so nice, weren't they? Their clothes were better than his. Anyway, the flashback takes us back. Boba is leaving the Tusken Raider camp. Why the camp is in the same spot? These are nomads. They move around. Nope, they're in one spot. Anyway, Boba gets on his bantha and rides off to deal with the Pix. I think they were called the Pix Syndicate, the fish people from the last episode. And he basically is there to collect payment for protection payment. And there's a bit of quibbling about who's going to pay. Why should we pay? The swoop gang pays for it. And so Boba doesn't get his money. And he said, "I'll be back. I'm going to settle this. And I'll be back. You'll only be paying me from now on, and for the protection of the Tuskens. Because they were here first. They were here since the oceans went dry." Hence this article right here. And Boba then goes back and, oh no, the Tusken camp has been destroyed. Everybody's dead. You're supposed to feel bad because the noble savage, the indigenous people got killed. Oh, F this. I smiled. I'm like, good. They're Tusken Raiders. They're chaotic. They're chaotic evil. They're chaotic evil. They're not good people. Despite this bullshit right here. Despite all this. We'll get to that. So Boba solemnly buries everybody. And as he's finishing watching him burn, and he's walking the bantha away, he's drifting out of his Bacta tank dream. And you see it opens in real time. And there suddenly it opens. And there's Black Kirsten, our evil Wookiee, attacks Boba from his Bacta tank, and now proceeds to be, once again, a horribly choreographed fight. Oh, well, we have an actual Boba Fett. Hail actual Boba Fett. Yes, the show, if possible, is even more pathetic than The Mandalorian. And the fight happens, and once again, for the third episode in a row, Boba Fett gets his ass kicked. Now, granted, we're all going to get our ass kicked by a big Wookiee, but Boba Fett so masterfully gets his ass kicked because, first of all, where's the security? Where's your new urchin gang? Well, here comes the urchin gang. While Boba's getting his ass kicked, here comes the urchin gang, and they show off their little tools, and here comes robotic armed little whammon. We're going to call her robotic armed whammon because I'm not even sure I caught her name. Robotic armed whammon comes in and stabs Black Kirsten in the side with her little dagger. This is a full grown Wookiee. The Wookiee, now I'll give him credit for this. The Wookiee's like, what? Are you kidding me? He tries to swipe her and she nimbly ducks under it. Whereas Boba was getting his ass kicked. And here come her other three dudes. Of course, remember, these are all now these are the Modiversity gang. It's the Modiversity gang. And they all have their tools, and they're all trying to trap Kirsten and all this stuff. And all the dudes get thrown around while she's so nimble and she ducks under attacks. And Boba gets back in the fight and gets slapped off like he's nothing, ragdolled aside. And, finally it ends. It ends finally. They manage to lock him down. And because what happens is the Gamorreans come in, and he charges the Gamorreans in such a stupid way that they fall down the stairs. So apparently, this Jabba's palace is so small that the stairs leading up to Boba's room, the throne room is right below, just one level below. The palace is supposed to be a nice little big palace. No, it goes right down to the throne room. Everything is shrunk in Disney Star Wars. There's no grandeur. And what happens is the Gamorreans, one of them gets her ass kicked, the other one's holding him, and then the others come, the speeder bike urchins come back in, and they manage to get Boba into the middle. Not Boba, I'm sorry, Black Kirsten into the middle of the floor, and then Fennec comes in and hits the Rancor trap button, and Kirsten falls down, and instead of shooting him, they let her shoot a little dagger, and he falls down. And now, so Black Kirsten is trapped. Here comes Boba in his robe, and now it's the whole discussion of we must retaliate. This was the twins, the Hutt twins, these new Hutt twins that were introduced. And Boba and Fennec are now eating dinner, and Fennec's trying to tell him he should enjoy being the head of a family. What family? And Boba is bitching and moaning about we have to wait and see what they do. We're not going to act. We have to wait for them. And lo and behold, because plot desires it, there's a knock at the door, and the twins are outside. They're here to make peace. The twins are here to make peace. They come bearing a gift. They come bearing a gift of a Rancor. Look at the shinies. Look, Boba Fett has a Rancor now to go in the Rancor cage. Isn't that cool, guys? Oh, they try so hard. It's member berries. It's member berries. So after a nice discussion about who's to blame for attacking Boba, they apologize. They're to blame. They apologize for sending Black Kirsten, and they abandon him to Boba, who lets him go. And then they warn him he needs to abandon Jabba's area, and they're going to abandon. They're going back to Hutta. It's not worth it to them, which is great. Fine, leave the show. You're not interesting anyway. Boba Fett then releases, like I said, releases Black Curse, and they bring in the Rancor, whose Rancor trainer is Machete, the dude who plays Machete. I can't remember his name suddenly. He's the Rancor trainer. And then now we go down. Here's the one part that was for a moment interesting because they pillaged the EU for it. They're down in the Rancor pit, and you see the Rancor is lying there. It's not moving. It's got blinders on, and Boba starts asking about the Rancor. Why does it have blinders on? And Machete, I'm going to call him Machete. Machete says it's because as soon as it's a youngling or whatever they called it, it's a whelp. Whoever sees first will imprint. And the impetus right away is, okay, I kind of see where they're going with this. They're going to have Boba become its printed thing. And of course they're going to do that. But then Machete tells him, once upon a time, Rancors used to be ridden, like on the planet Doth by the witches of Dathomir. Bravo, Jon Favreau. You pillaged something from the courtship of Princess Leia. Good job. Good job, Jon Favreau, proving once again that the EU is king. The EU holds all the source material, all the lore. You didn't make anything up yourself. You had to pillage a cool concept from the EU. Because then Boba says, I want you to teach me how to write it. And after discussion with that, I mean, Boba's now, he's got a new puppy. The Rancor is a new puppy. And everything cool, talking about the Rancors again, how they're complex emotion, how they've got this, how this and that. Everything cool about that conversation pillaged from the courtship of Princess Leia right there on my shelf. Boop, 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 right there. Then Boba's interrupted because he's got what was it? Got a message from the I forget. So all right. Plot moves forward. They need to go after the mayor. Plot moves forward. I forget what the part was. Plot moves forward. They're going after the mayor because they're blaming the mayor for everything. So Boba and Fennec go to the mayor with their new Power Ranger biker gang along with them. And yeah, this cringe is totally real, Anime Man 73. It is completely real. It's horrible. So it's so bad. First of all, remember the dialogue is horrific. Anyway, the Boba Fett and Fennec Shan go in there, and you have that gimp major domo, that Twi'lek who's been, being the go-between. He's there. And he brushes them off and he runs away. And then suddenly they realize the mayor's not there and they go outside. And there goes the Twi'lek in a speeder away. And Boba says to his Power Ranger biker gang, he has to tell them to go after them. Or was it Fennec? I don't know. I think maybe Fennec gave the order. Either way, it's pathetic because now you have, for the remainder of the show, the last 7 minutes of the show is this speeder chase throughout the streets of Mos Espa with these really stupid looking Power Ranger colored speeder bikes. You got the urchin gang doing this stuff, and of course the dudes are all kind of inept. They don't quite get it done. It doesn't get done until powerful ramming cyborg arm girl, she gets it done. She's the one to finally get it done. And then at the last second, and this just shows you that Jon Favreau is terrible at writing now. Once upon a time, he may have been good. He's terrible at writing because you realize in this last moment what this scene could have been. What it could have been. Because now that the speeder is down, it's not going anywhere. Boba Fett lands after flying on his jetpack. 3 episodes in, and Boba Fett finally uses his jetpack. But we don't actually see it. He just lands. And he basically threatens the Twi'lek, and the Twi'lek reveals that it's the Pick gang, that the mayor's working the Pick gang. And I'm going to come back to the scene in a moment. Let's just finish that. We got like one scene left. And then basically we cut to the spaceport, and you see a bunch of Picks coming down from the ship, and cyborg-eyed black dude of the Urchin gang basically is spying for Boba, and he reports back to Boba, and Boba says, keep an eye out for them. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, don't worry, mate. It's all right. I'm proud of my eye. It's like, you can't even make a simple line without trying to, gotta apologize to the dude for saying, I mean, it's just, oh God. So now basically it's time for war with the Picks. Boom. End of episode. I wasted my time with that, so you didn't have to. So let's take a moment. What are you guys saying? With all due respect, the Power Rangers. I know it is, but that's what's invoked to my mind, because it's the Power Ranger colors, and these spikes are so clean. They're so shiny and clean. Anyway, this show is beyond pathetic. That is literally what happened in this episode, play by play. Bad dialogue. You didn't have to hear it. I had to hear it. Bad fighting, bad choreography, and the continued destruction of Boba Fett. Because here's the favorite argument right now from the stands. It's, he didn't really do anything in the movies. You've all built it up in your head canon, so just accept it for what it is. You can go to hell, stands, because you're dumb. You're dumb. You never have an actual argument. And apparently they're melting down on Twitter, and it has found its way to here. So we're going to go back in time to the flashback where Boba Fett is burning the cremating and the destruction of the Tusken Raiders. I said this last week because, you know, the receipts are there. The video is there. I said this last week. This show is virtue signaling to the high heavens to try and make the case that Tusken Raiders were done dirty by George Lucas and everybody, that they're actually the indigenous people, and we have to show them respect because they were there first. And here it is on Shill Rant. Star Wars is trying to fix George Lucas's oldest Dune mistake, but can it? Oldest Dune mistake, yes. There is always the concept that George took some ideas from Dune, but what is this? Star Wars Book of Boba Fett wants to fix George Lucas's original depiction of iconic Tusken Raiders, which are based on the Fremen of Dune. See, I don't know that. I'm not going to claim to know that, right or wrong. But let's just cut right this. While most of these borrowed elements have allowed Star Wars franchise to develop its own unique, compelling narrative, Tatooine's Tusken Raiders in particular have been criticized as racist, as a racist mistake that exoticizes West Asian indigenous cultures. Oh my God! Who is this? Peter Mutik, another soy boy, virtue signaling his soy boy ways. Trying to tell us that Star Wars is again racist. Go to hell. Go to hell. However, the Book of Boba Fett seems intent on correcting this aspect of the Star Wars universe. Remember, this is what they've set out to do, to make it better. Disney Star Wars' entire mission is to go away from the heart and soul of George Lucas's Star Wars, to make it better, to make it theirs, to improve it, because they can do it better. Oh, and what's this? The Jedi are similar to Bene Gesserit. Did you even read Dune? The Jedi are not similar to the Bene Gesserit at all. Jedi and Sith orders being highly similar. No. You may make an argument the Sith, the Bene Gesserit want control, manipulation. The Jedi, they're for justice and order. So this person proves they don't know Star Wars. They don't know Dune. To even make that kind of comparison shows how fake they are. And that's the kind of thing I'm going to be talking about a lot in the coming weeks. The fakeness of these shills, the fakeness of everything, how they are fake geeks, fake nerds. The Book of Boba Fett reveals while Tuskens are perceived as savages, they actually have an intelligent and well-developed culture. Well, of course they're intelligent. Of course they have their own culture, but they are savages. They kidnap people. They raid people. They destroy things because the Tuskens hate technology. They see everybody that has come to Tatooine as invaders. So their plan is not to dodge them, not to go away from them. Their plan is to hurt them as much as they can. Both people are just like the Fremen of Dune. Fremen of Dune are not shunned. They say the people are shunned by those who live in cities of their respective desert planets because of their unusual practice rituals. No, they're not. Again, you've clearly never read Dune. Those in charge of Arrakis, the Harkonnens, when Dune starts, they treat them like slaves. They treat them as second-class citizens because the Harkonnens see everybody else as beneath them. It's not because they're shunned for unusual practices and rituals. This is, what's the term? This is imposing their own view of the world, their own view of things, their own belief on how things happen on these narratives of these stories, rather than what the actual story is telling us. That's what SJWs do. That's what these woke lunatics do. They imprint, they put their own version of it out there to try and override what's actually going on. And then they will tell you that it's racist, it's bigoted, it's phobic. That's what they do. So it's, and this is, again, a leap. Both people are shunned by those who live in the cities, desert planets, because of unusual practice rituals, which are mainly based on survival strategies for living with the harsh landscape. Although the Fremen are much more technically advanced than the Tuskens, both people are in a constant fight to retain their ancestral domain and natural resources in the face of development aggression. Okay, one, there are no natural resources on Tatooine. As I said during the recap part, Jon Favreau at one point through the huts actually says Tatooine is a rock. It's worthless. And that's why I asked, is he actually being honest there? Tatooine is a rock. Why are we so obsessed with Tatooine? It is a rock in space covered in sand. It has no natural resources. The Tuskens are not defending, trying to reclaim their natural resources. They are simply trying to kill things because they hate invaders. The Fremen do have a natural resource. It's called the spice melange. And they are not really that much more advanced. They use projectile weapons as well. The Fremen, the Tusken Raiders don't use technology because in actual Star Wars lore, they hate technology. They consider it a sin by their religion. So it just shows you that these simps, these soy boys, these virtue signaling SJWs, they are obsessed with imprinting this kind of crap on there. And Star Wars isn't about this. And they're rewriting Tusken Raiders. Jon Favreau is rewriting the Tusken Raiders to fit this narrative. Ridiculous. And this is all they want to do. And I guess I was wrong. I guess female Tusken Raider wasn't Fennec Shand. I was wrong about that. Further mirroring Dune, the Tuskens are also placed in the center of Boba's character development. Yeah, Boba's character development of being a simp, being a cuck, being reduced to somebody getting his ass kicked by everybody in the galaxy. And then they're trying to connect over. So this is connected to Maori. I mean, it's all ridiculous. It's all pathetic. But it doesn't end. The insults do not end there. The insults do not end there. Because it was revealed today. Tamura Morrison revealed in an interview that they have indeed changed Boba Fett's Slave One. Let's get to it. I think we'll call it Fire Spray. I think I've mentioned it in a couple of episodes. It's a gunship now. That's what we're calling it. Fire Spray Gunship. Remember last year, this was a big hullabaloo that Disney on a Lego box changed it from Slave One to Fire Spray, all because the word slave is offensive suddenly. Boba Fett is a bounty hunter who temporarily enslaves people to bring them to his clients. This is insanely stupid. It is disrespectful to Star Wars. It is disrespectful to everything George Lucas created, all in the name of virtue signaling, because the word slave is now suddenly offensive. Slavery, which has existed in the world since my people, the Jews were enslaved by the Egyptians thousands of years ago. It has always existed. It is not the original sin of America. Slavery has existed forever. It is a part of history. But these SJWs, history is problematic. So we have to modernize. You can't have the word slave because somebody might have their fifis hurt. I'm so tired of this. I am so tired of this. Words are just words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Just a word. It is just a word. Slave. Slave one. Slave one is meant to invoke fear. Because Boba Fett is supposed to be a badass. But no, we don't have a badass anymore. And to now wrap back to the show. Jon Favreau had a moment to do something truly badass with Boba Fett. And they apparently did it in The Mandalorian with jetpacks. They had him fall flying around. Wouldn't it have been much cooler to have Boba Fett chasing the Twi'lek and the speeder on his jetpack, flying around after him, instead of having the Power Ranger bike gang chasing the speeder in horrible choreography? Boba Fett flying around in a jetpack, shooting at him. Maybe the speeder had a gun. Maybe got fire back. Who knows? Maybe other minions of the mayor might have shown up to fire Boba Fett. Made a cool thing. It would have Boba Fett on a jetpack. You showed us he could use it because he lands there. Why not have him chase the speeder? But no, Boba Fett's not supposed to be a badass anymore. Not at all. And guess what? Book of Boba Fett might not be as popular post-release as The Mandalorian. Audience have been waiting long. No, audience has not been waiting a long time from this. Book premiered only 2 weeks ago, meaning it's only begun. It's only 7 episodes. Wow, I thought it was even 8. It's not even 8 episodes. Still got 4 episodes too many to go, though. However, new data reveals it has yet to reach the same audience as The Mandalorian. According to Insider, Parrot Analytics data confirms the Book of Boba Fett hasn't increased its post-premiere demand as much as The Mandalorian did during the first 11 days of being available. Demand for Mandalorian was 75.5% higher than Book of Boba Fett in the United States. Meanwhile, demand for Mandalorian was 100% higher globally. All right, so Mandalorian was tepid garbage as far as I'm concerned. You can disagree with me on that. You're free to. It was more fake Star Wars. It was the beginning of this fake Star Wars stuff. But they captured everybody's attention with the event at the end of season 2, where they had awkwardly, digitally CGI'd face Luke Skywalker, which we know was Mark Hamill, but they did that anyway, come in and save the day from Dark Troopers, more stuff pilfered from the EU. We had that happen, and for a minute, everybody was duped yet again that Disney Star Wars just might redeem itself from the sequel trilogy. Maybe, just maybe. But nope. People like me who have I wasn't sold at Force Awakens. I black-pilled back then. I've recovered. But these people then instantly destroyed Disney Lucasfilm instantly destroyed the goodwill that they had garnered. Pablo Hidalgo, the chief instigator of this, destroyed the goodwill, and people checked out. And then they fired Gina Carano. And that is why a lot of people checked out. Frankly, I don't know why we were watching this to begin with. I mean, Gina Carano did nothing wrong, but this was not good Star Wars to begin with. Why you were watching it, I don't know. Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. F Baby Yoda. Burn it with fire. Kill it with fire. Of course, Book of Boba Fett is not going to capture the numbers that Mandalorian did for a couple of big reasons. One, you don't have your gimmick. Baby Yoda was the gimmick. Baby Yoda Grogu was the gimmick that a lot of people leapt up like good little sheeple. And number two, you haven't earned back any of the good faith. The High Republic is garbage. Mandalorian it's just not good. There's nothing going on with any of this. So this is not surprising. Not surprising at all. And I hope that I hope this is the end of this sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching, everyone. I don't do Facebook. I will never do Twitter. If you want to reach out to me, email me at therennerd@gmail.com. I'm on Getter now, at @therennerd, the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can also follow me on Odyssey at The Renaissance Nerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.